Good, happy Tuesday afternoon. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Tuesday afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's get started right now. First up, we're going to begin with a look at the weather. Some sunshine Tuesday, a light wintry mix Wednesday morning. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Kevin Skarupa.
First day of winter, and it is partly sunny skies and a weak front coming through as we went through the morning hours. Moisture riding northward, energy coming in from the Great Lakes. These two combine for a very large storm as it moves away from us. The question over the last couple of days is, what does it do when it combines forces nearby before moving away? Temperatures this afternoon will be in the 30s to lower range of the 40s. Fair skies into this evening with increasing clouds overnight. We are likely going to have some slippery spots tomorrow morning. It is just a matter of exactly how widespread it is going to be. Temperatures will be below freezing as the moisture starts to work its way in after 2 or 3 a.m. Little stripe of light snow is a possibility from the Lakes region up through the Mount Washington Valley. A few inches of accumulation tomorrow morning. It is farther south from the coastline to inland sections that it could be a mixture of some initial snow and then right over to either sleet or freezing rain with temperatures below the freezing mark for the morning commute. All of this wraps up by around lunchtime tomorrow. Then tomorrow afternoon, Thursday and Friday, we are basically in fair skies, only to have another system attempt to run in as we work our way toward Christmas Day. That right now also looks like a light wintry mix possible.
Okay, and there you go. That weather forecast from meteorologist Kevin Skarupa. Thank you for that weather forecast, Kevin. Now let's get to your news. First up, New Hampshire child dies from COVID-19 complications. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Our new EV rental fleet is the absolute GOAT.
Nice. Speaking of goats,
there have been hundreds of deaths in children across the country. New Hampshire has been fortunate throughout much of this pandemic.
But now a grim milestone as the first child from the Granite State, just 11 years old or younger, died from COVID-related complications in September. According to health officials, they were identified after COVID-19 was listed as a cause of death on the death certificate, which was just finalized. State epidemiologist Dr. Benjamin Chan says the risk has always been looming.
Anybody can become infected with COVID-19. The vast majority of people, particularly children, teenagers, younger adults, will only have mild symptoms. And it's always hard to predict who's going to go on to develop more serious disease.
Right now, DHHS reports 25 to 30% of new cases in New Hampshire are in children under the age of 18. Doctors say vaccination rates play a big role in the numbers.
Kids are vaccinated at a much lower rate than the adult population is at this point as well. It's not been available for as long, and not as many kids are even eligible.
For kids who have the virus, health experts give these symptoms of concern: a high fever that won't go away and trouble breathing. They encourage everyone 5 and up to get the shot, and for people 16 and older to get boosted.
It requires people taking the necessary steps to protect themselves and to protect others.
Now, Dr. Chan says a majority of people who have died of COVID-19 in the state have been 65 or older with chronic conditions, putting them more at risk for the virus. Live in Concord, Grace Feinerman, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Two injured in Laconia house fire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
You can see some of the equipment that is here in Laconia to fight this two-alarm fire that is now under control. It was about 3:30 this morning, according to Laconia's fire chief, when they were toned out for a report of smoke in a garage. The fire chief says when they arrived at the scene at 41 Spruce Street, the garage was fully ablaze and the fire was starting to spread into the attic area of the home. Now, there were 3 people home at the time, said to be in their 40s or 50s. all three made it out. The chief says one thing that is puzzling, they're not quite sure what woke the people up, because the people told them the fire alarms didn't start going off until as they were leaving the home. The chief says it took a while to get the fire under control, and there were a couple of people injured.
One of the occupants had a minor burn to his hand and a little bit of smoke inhalation, but he did not require transport.
Okay. What about firefighters? Any firefighters?
Yeah, we had one firefighter injured. Believe he came in contact with a electrical line. Minor injuries. He was transported to Concord Hospital, Laconia.
Now, the chief says they went to 2 alarms, brought in about 30 firefighters, in part because of the cold, but there were no problems with the lines freezing. There is a hydrant in the area, so they were able to get water to the scene. The chief says while they believe the fire started in the garage, at this point they don't know why it started. The chief says the home did suffer extensive damage. He's not sure what, if anything, can be salvaged. Reporting live in Laconia, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Kindness is powerful.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. Biden to announce steps to fight Omicron surge. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Target makes last-minute gifting easier. Shop with same-day delivery. Free.
The explosion of Omicron cases in this country. It is now the dominant strain, less than 3 weeks after it was first detected here. And get this is what we know right now. 1 week ago, Omicron accounted for just 3% of cases. Now, a stunning 73% of cases. The first reported death now from Omicron in the country, a Houston man with underlying conditions who was not vaccinated.
And with long lines for testing nationwide, this is the scene at a testing facility in Southern California. Americans flooding those sites before Christmas to find out if they're infected.
And President Biden is set to make a major announcement this afternoon about dealing with the COVID surge, from testing to helping overwhelmed hospitals. Our chief White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega, starts us off with the new details right now, and there are a lot of them. Good morning, Cecilia.
There are, Amy, good morning to you. And when the president delivers that speech here this afternoon, we are told by officials that he is not going to mince words with Omicron. You know this, health officials are bracing for this surge in cases. Even vaccinated people they are talking about, though they are expected to experience mild to no symptoms. But for the unvaccinated, the president's message is going to be dire. Act now. Today, President Biden set to lay out in stark terms what's at stake as the Omicron variant sweeps the nation. Get vaccinated and boosted now, or be prepared for the worst. A White House official says the president will announce drastic new steps to fight the surge. 1,000 military medical personnel deployed to help overburdened hospitals. That's nearly a 5-fold increase to the military doctors, nurses, and paramedics already pitching in. FEMA called in to set up hospital overflow sites, distribute supplies like ventilators, and deploy ambulances to transport patients from crowded facilities to those with open beds. New federal testing and vaccination sites starting in New York City, where in some spots testing lines stretch down the street and people wait for hours. And the president will also announce free at-home rapid tests for any American who requests one. The White House procuring 500 million tests, promising that come January, anyone who requests one through a website will get one in the mail. So what will the president's announcement not include?
Should Americans expect any new restrictions? This is not a speech about locking the country down. This is a speech outlining and being direct and clear with the American people about the benefits of being vaccinated, the steps we're going to take to increase access and to increase testing, and the risks posed to unvaccinated individuals.
Now, for so many of us who might be worried about traveling right now, given Omicron, the president is expected to say today if you were vaccinated and you were following all of these proper protocols, Amy, like wearing masks, you should feel comfortable carrying on with your celebrations and your travel as planned.
And speaking of the president, Cecilia, a White House staffer who had contact with him has now tested positive for COVID. So what's next?
Yeah, so the test came in positive yesterday. The staffer was on Air Force One with the president on Friday. President Biden has tested negative since then, but because the president is vaccinated, the CDC rules say he doesn't have to quarantine. So, Amy, he's carrying on with business as usual.
All right, Cecilia Vega for us at the White House. Thank you, Cecilia.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching, and have a great rest of your afternoon. See you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.